0, 1. Let's get started.
Why they stopping me?
Bye, crypto bro.
What's going on, crypto peeps? It's that guy again, Ball Deep Crypto, coming at you with a little XLM piece here. Just wanted to touch a base a little bit with Meridian coming up here in the next couple days. Going to be a big weekend for Stellar. Usually some big things are dropped. Not sure what those will be, but here's a little face about a couple of the people that are here. But I wanted to highlight, shout out to Double Agent XLM, that Stellar dude. The dude abides. The co-founder of Chainlink is going to be there. Now, Chainlink was also part of the the federal database, everything else that Stellar was a part of. But basically, I wanted to say, well, how does Chainlink link up with Stellar, and what does it do? Well, as you guys know, Protocol 23, WHISK, we talked about that in a previous episode. Talked about how, Soroban, how Stellar wants to be a DeFi, AMM app. It's, trying to be RWA Tokenization, which is the future, as Larry Fink from BlackRock says, as I've said multiple times. Yeah, it's a, potential $20 trillion market cap coming here by 2030, so the potential is there. Now, basically what it does is the collaboration, let's say a workflow example. Now, let's say a DeFi app on Stellar, Soroban, wants to offer leveraged trading on tokenized stocks. It queries Chainlink oracles for real-time prices, verifies them on chain, and then uses Stellar's automatic swaps for settlement. Chainlink ensures data integrity while Stellar handles the transaction and efficiency. So for Stellar, basically what it'll do is, it's access to reliable off-chain data. It unlocks complex use cases like DeFi lending, derivatives, of course, which we know with the DTCC, which they're a part of, and data-driven RWAs, tokenization of assets, Soroban, obviously the Protocol 23 update, 5,000 TPS, we've talked about all this. Soroban, they want to be, $3 billion worth of RWA tokenization and assets by the end of this year, 2025. So shout out to them. That's a big boost. What it will do, it will boost Stellar's TVL, total value locked, and adoption in institutional finance. As it's seen, its growth from 153 million DeFi TVL by mid-2025. Now, without oracles, Soroban contracts would be limited to on-chain data, hindering its scalability. So with these oracles that Chainlink provides, it obviously enhances the ability for them to have the data and do the contracts that they need to through Soroban. So this is a big partnership, for Chainlink. It's expanding to Stellar, adds another major network with 5,000 TPS capacity, obviously with the Soroban update, to its Oracle ecosystem, increasing link usage for data requests and staking. It taps into Stellar's strength in payments and compliance, enhancing Chainlink's role in global finance and RWA. This is a partnership that was built for each other, so this is absolutely beautiful. Together, they drive RWA adoption by combining Stellar's tokenization efficiency and Chainlink's data security, creating a more interconnected crypto landscape. This reduces risks like oracle attacks, it improves liquidity across both chains, and attracts TradeFi players, e.g. banks using ISO 222, which we know Stellar is ISO 222 compliant, which the banks and 87% of all the money in the world will be moving on those chains by November 17th, I believe, is the date that they'll be fully integrated. So it's happening as we speak. Now, it says it's potentially transforming 19 trillion markets like trade finance. Investors in both Link and XLM benefit from shared growth and utility-driven altcoins. Boom. There we go. Kind of give you an idea. So this is big that he's at Meridian. This is like Stellar's little powwow, their big shindig. So held up in Brazil. Beautiful spot by the beach. Wish I was there. Shout out to Stellar, XLM, anybody that's there. Chainlink, good to see you over here. Shout out to Double Agent on this. Now let's go over here and let's talk about somebody else. Thursday at the Meridian 25, we're talking about Nethermind ET. So you've got Lucian Stroke here, the head of integrations at Boundless Network. Then you've got Matteo Lisato, senior software engineer for Nethermind. Shout out to the Nether, you know. All my, what the hell is it? Minecraft people out there. Sorry, my kids play. I don't play. I'm a poser. I try to act like I did, but I don't. Anyways, so just give you an idea what they're talking about. They're going to be on the stage talking about they're trying to bring privacy and limitless transactions to Stellar's network through zero-knowledge technology. Now I was like, well, what is this? You know, so I kind of looked it up. I asked Gronk, what is it? Now Nethermind is a blockchain engineering and research firm specializing in solutions for decentralized networks, including Ethereum clients, Starknet infrastructure, and zero-knowledge ZK proof system. Now, Boundless is a protocol focused on enabling verifiable compute across any blockchain, essentially creating a universe. So this is like the multiverse, you know, for crypto. Universe marketplace for generating ZK proofs that enhance scalability, security, and interoperability between chains. So it's basically going to make it seamless for all these chains to interact. RWAs, tokenization, you know, it says down here, you know. Their collaboration with Stellar creates The Signal, a cross-industry initiative to use ZK proofs for distilling the finality of various blockchains into a single verifiable proof. So this signal acts as the source that verifies everything, so it can cross and it doesn't have to be verified across every network. It's kind of like a known thing. It's almost like people that, you know, I mean, you know, it's, I don't know how to explain that, but it's, you know, it's almost like, you know, doing a digital ID, I guess. It's like a known thing. Everybody accepts it, you know. It's widely accepted by everybody, pretty much. So this partnership, which includes major players like Wormhole Base, Optimism, Lena, etc., positions Stellar as a key participant in advancing ZK-driven infrastructure. Now, Nethermind acts as a launch partner, contributing open-source ZK consensus clients and providing mechanisms for Ethereum, while Boundless provides the overarching protocol for chain agnostic ZK compute. So they kind of work together. So this is a big step, actually. So let's go down here and talk about the potential for money, assets, and tokenization of this right here. Now, Stellar is already a leader in real-world asset tokenization, up to 441 million in tokenized holdings as of early 2025, which, you know, obviously we know that's Wisdom Tree. We know that's Franklin Templeton. Both very serious players, very serious money people. So if they're putting their money on Stellar, that should tell you something. These people are not niche people. They have done their research, and they have chosen Stellar, like myself, like hopefully you have. But again, to reiterate, this is not financial advice, people. I am not a financial advisor. Again, I make 20 bucks an hour. Take it or leave it. I'm just here to give you the information that I found. It's boring, but nonetheless, it's information, and this is money and knowledge. Knowledge is power. Do what you want with your money. It's yours, you know. If you want to go out raving like some people I know, shout out. You know who you are. Go rave, man. But I like to put my money here and hopefully grow it and turn my little seed into a flower. So, again, hopefully you're here for that. Let's go. Now, RWA expansion, Stellar's built-in asset issuance, i.e., tokenized fiat, commodities, or securities combined with ZK proofs could bring institutional-grade tokenization for existence. The Stellar Development Foundation's investments in Archax, a regulated digital asset exchange. Archax is big. They're across multiple chains. We've talked about them in previous videos as well. Is explicitly aimed at boosting RWA tokenization on Stellar. Now, with boundless interoperability, tokenized assets like real estate, bonds. We talked about real estate in Japan, the potential for $10 trillion, and they're going to be potentially 20% of that. I think we talked about, who was that? Was that SHX, Japan, I believe. So, I mean, you know, if SHX is doing it, they're running on Soroban, they're running on Stellar, Bada bing, bada boom, bada bang. So there we go with that. Now, with balance and operability, like it says, real estate bonds are precious metals. Shout out silver. Buy as much as you can. Physical silver. Could move fluidly to Ethereum or other chains, attracting more liquidity and users. Now, enhanced ZK could enable privacy-preserving remittances and B2B payments, including on Stellar's existing partnerships, MoneyGram for fiat to crypto conversion in 200-plus countries, or IBM's WorldWire, shout out SHX, which was a test pilot for that, for a 72-country coverage. This could draw billions, but billions in cross-border flows, especially in underserved regions, which we also know they're working in East Asia with Velo, increasing XLM's role as a bridge asset. Now, again, also, anything that's moving on XLM also charges the XLM fee. It also has a natural burn mechanism into it. So there's only 50 billion of those, and I believe like 36 billion circulating, if I'm not correct, somewhere in that range. So not that many in the grand scheme of things if everything starts moving how it's going to be moving. Now, this could draw, like I said, now, Nethermind's work on tokenized standards, their report on PwC on bridging institutional adoption aligns perfectly with Stellar's strengths and potential, includes tokenized equities, funds, or debt, i.e. Franklin Templeton, Wisdom Tree, which you talked about, DeFi and yield. ZK-enabled RWAs could integrate with yield strategies, AI-optimized portfolios, or compliant lending, potentially bringing 25 million plus to TVL. Now, inoperability succeeds. Now, the economic scale, if inoperability succeeds, it could catalyze a unified multi-chain economy, which would be glorious. It sounds glorious, where Stellar handles tokenized payments for trillions in global remittances, projected at 800 billion plus annually. This might include CBDCs. We also know they're doing, we talked about, the Ukraine, the UNHCR, Ukraine on Stellar, stablecoins like the USDC driving asset inflows and XLM appreciation through increased demand. While speculative, the setup provides Stellar for significant growth in a tokenization market forecasted to reach $10 trillion by 2030 with XLM as the native fuel. So these two doing their thing, Meridian 25. Let's hope it works out in our favor, works out for XLM's favor. Shout out to them. Now, Double Agent XLM, which we just talked about. Again, this guy's on it. He must live on Twitter and live in his deep dive. I just get my information from him and pass it to you. You should really be following him if you want the same information I'm giving you. At the end of the day, he says, just spoke to Sandy Crawl from Templeton. Hodl Stellar. I'm hodling Stellar, brother. That's all I do is hodl. Not financial advice. If you make money, you want to spend it, make your money back, and hold the rest, do it. But I'm a hodler. I'm holding. I'm not selling for 30 freaking cents. Nah, bruh. Nah. All right, again, we just talked about this, the DTCC, RWA Tokenization. They are the derivatives holder for the stock market. So this is a very, 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 very large player. As you can see, they do 4 quad trillion a year. And this guy's talking about XRP. Shout out to XRP. I do like XRP, but everybody talks about it. You don't need to hear me yapping about it. You know what I mean? I could go and do a little bit about it if you really want to. Just put it in the comments, but I think a lot of people already know everything they need to know about XRP, but I do love XRP. I do have XRP, so let's not get that twisted. I do love XLM more, though. All right, so as you can see here, the depository trust and clearing processes nearly 4 quadrillion in securities annually. To modernize this vast infrastructure, the DTC has patent titled Systems, Methods, and Storage Media for managing digital liquidity tokens in a distributed ledger platform. There's the patent. Now, this patent outlines a framework for tokenizing liquidity across various asset classes, integrating digital assets like XRP and XLM. It complements the previously discovered DTCC patent focusing on hierarchy, delegation rights, as you can see right there, a little bit blurry. That's Stellar. That's XRP on the other side. So, take it or leave it. We also know that the DTCC uses R3 Corda, which uses, they did the Project Ion, like I've talked about, which used the XDC. So, you know, Securitize, the whole shebang-a-bang. So, shout out to XDC. Now, I want to talk about this also, too. This is the DTIF, the Digital Token Identifier Foundation. Now, what is this, and what does it do exactly? Kind of was wondering what it was, so I kind of took a look at it. As you can see, again, double agent came with this knowledge and found this paperwork here. It's a standardized form of identification will provide consistency and transparency for crypto assets across all entities, individuals, and other stakeholders involved in the United States crypto asset market. So what is it? The DTIF stands for the Digital Token Identifier Foundation, a nonprofit organization established to create a standardized system for uniquely identifying digital tokens and crypto assets. It issues a 9-digit algorithmic code similar to ISINs for traditional securities to ensure consistent tracking, reporting, and interoperability across financial systems. So this right here is how when brokers, when the stock traders, when people come in, and maybe even tax purposes and whatever the case may be, this is a digital identity. So this is telling you, and as you can see, crypto at sec.gov, that on February 13th of 2025, that they are ready to go. This is going to be just like every other asset there is now, and paper form and everything else, just going to be digital. And now they're going to start putting numbers to it for identifying codes and everything else. You know what I mean? So it's increasingly, so the organization, ISO, with the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, is increasingly adopted for regulatory compliance, especially in tokenized assets and derivatives, as we just talked about, the DTCC and tokenization. Larry Fink, they want to tokenize every asset in the world. They're going to do it, people. This is happening. The DTIF codes help prevent a duplication in crypto asset identification, where informal names, e.g. XLM for Stellar Lumas, can lead to confusion in global finance. Stellar's native token XLM has been officially registered with the DTIF and assigned a unique identifier. This integration positions XLM within standardized financial frameworks, facilitating its use in institutional and regulated environments, which you know Stellar's all about. They want to be part of the CBDCs. They want to be fully regulated. They are with the Fed now. They're with the DTCC. They're with the BIS. They're with the International Bank of Settlements. They're in with the EUC, you know, the International Central Banks. They're in with everybody because they want to be part of it. They don't want to be an outliner out here doing it on the outskirts. They want to be fully regulated and ready to go when the money's ready to go. They're ready to play with the big boys. You know, they're not out here in the sketchy anything. They want to be fully compliant, fully regulated, and fully institutionally ready to be used by everybody in every which way it can be, whether it be CBDCs, whether it be USDC with the digital dollar, whether it be AMMs, whether it be RWAs, tokenization, real estate, metals, you name it, they want to be in on it. If it's money, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. XLM's trying to make them sense into dollars. Now, while the DTIF itself is primarily an identification and standardization tool rather than a blockchain or transactional platform, XLM's role ties into DFTFs through regulatory compliance tokenization. So basically it says XLM's code enables precise tracking and tax and financial reporting systems. For instance, under the IRS's new form, 1099-DA, digital asset proceeds from broker transactions, effective for 2025 transactions, brokers, e.g. crypto exchanges, must report sales or exchanges of digital assets using this code. So that's basically what it is. That's it. And now in the derivatives market, it uses a unique product identifiers, UPIs, on crypto asset derivatives. Entities like ANA, DSB, Association of National Number Agencies, adopt DTIF for underlying assets like XLM. Without whatever. I'm not going to say it. I can't even talk. It's 5:50 in the morning. Ambiguity. Yeah, whatever. try it again. Oh, shit. I'm fucking tired. All right. Stellar's blockchain is increasingly used for tokenizing assets, as we've talked about with Soroban, WHISK, Upgrade, Protocol 23, security funds, and stablecoins. Codes bring legal certainty and interoperability. For example, Wisdom Tree's tokenized funds on Stellar are processed through the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, the DTCC, compliance aware token framework, and the DTCC handles 4 quadrillion, like we said. So as we know, Stellar is live in their production infrastructure for SEC approved tokenized securities. They are ready to go. Yo. Okay, XLM powers the underlying transactions, fees, and bridging, with DTIF ensuring tokenized versions of XLM or Stellar-based assets are uniquely identifiable. As we know, they're in with Franklin Templeton's Benji Fund, the first tokenized U.S. mutual fund on Stellar. It holds over $446 million in assets. DTF codes help enforce multiple jurisdictional compliance, fraud prevention, and audit trails for these RWAs, real-world assets. This also aligns with the EU regulations, MiCA, which we talked about. They're regulated and ready to go with MiCA. The ER with their ERC 3643, which we talked about, tokens, they standardize Stellar supports. So I mean, it's Stellar. The name actually fits. What aren't they Stellar at? It acts as a bridge currency, cross-border payments, it helps with that, which they're obviously in on. I mean, they're in everything. It helps enhances its institutional use, such as Visa stablecoin settlement platform, which integrated Stellar in August of 2025. Visa now supports USDC on Stellar for global payments, using XLM for liquidity and fees. DTIF codes ensure compliant reporting for these high-volume transactions, especially in remittances, which obviously we talked about remittances and unbanked regions. MoneyGram, UNHCR, aid disbursements we've talked about. So, partnerships like Stripe and Paxios and MasterCard crypto credential services leverage Stellar for e-money and CBDC pilots. I mean, on and on and on and on. Like we said, the U.S. Department of Commerce began publishing quarterly GDP data on Stellar in September of 2025, using Stellar for on-chain verification and low-cost data anchoring. Those codes standardize XLM's role here. So I mean, you got the DTCC's expansion into tokenization mentioned at Stellar Meridian's 2025 summit, highlights XLM's utility in a 19 trillion trade finance market with upgrades like Protocol 23, WHISK. Stellar now supports 5,000 TPS for parallel smart contracts, making it ideal for the DTIF-enabled tokenized derivatives. Yellow. So again, people, I just wanted to give you a quick little dive here. I know it's late. Shit, sorry. Yep. And it's probably a lot to take in. But why it matters for Stellar, why all of this matters, and everything that's happening. Obviously, you've got the cross, you've got WHISK in now, you've got Soroban, you've got Protocol 23. Stellar's coming for that ass. You know what I mean? Clap, clap. It's gonna get it, I think. So watch it, ETH. Coming for you. But they're going to go across chain to ETH. They're going to go across chain to probably, maybe Avalanche, maybe Solana. I don't know if that's all part of it. But I think that soon everything will connect, But this is a good foundation. And what they're doing is getting themselves set up to do it. And they're cheap. And people are going to want to use Stellar, in my opinion, use Soroban for what they can do. I think the more that people take a look at it, and once they get the people in here, the devs, and they start using the DeFi on it, sky's the limit. Sky is the limit. So I mean, DTI, like I said, it bridges crypto to TradeFi. Legally certain XLM uses standards like ISO 24165. I mean, it's driven Stellar's DeFi TVL to 153 million, up 200% year over year, and wallet growth by 100% since July of 2025. I mean, think about that. What, 3 or 4 months ago. It's up 100% already. 100% in wallets. That's crazy. You know, like, so we talked about XLM's deflationary mechanics, you know, 50 billion total supply, and it's only 31.8 billion circulating. So there we go. Could increase demand as more assets are tokenized on Stellar, means more burns, means more XLM is being used, more money. You know what I mean? Woo! Money, 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 people. Again, Stellar aims for by December 2025. I know it was 3. I think they're aiming for 1.5 billion in TVL and 3 billion in RWAs. I mean, DTIF playing a key role in operability with Ethereum and Solana. Again, partnerships with the BIS, the central banks. I mean, on and on and on and on. You know, we got Visa, we got everything else. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I got some other stuff I'm gonna put out here. I'm gonna try and do just like a little something on every little bit of part of the Stellar XLM team here. But I need to get some sleep. I gotta work tomorrow. Be out there in that heat, making them turns. Shout out to my coworkers if you're here. Sorry if this is a yibble yabble, but man, I just got distracted when I got home, and my ADHD finally said do it, and it obviously wasn't the best, but hopefully you got something out of this. And like I always say, chase a check, never chase a bit.